Well, hello everybody. Pastor Randy here. Welcome to Making It Simple. It is a beautiful Thursday. The week has almost come to an end. Hope things are going well for you today and your week has been blessed. We're going to start just with a little intro today for a brand new study series in our invitation series. We have series within a series, I guess, but each one of these lessons is one of the great invitations from the Bible. Oftentimes we think about action, again, participating, the invitation to participate, and on so and on so. What I want us to look at today is the invitation to come and get out of the boat. We take this from the scripture found in Matthew as it pertains to the story of Peter walking on the water. I just want to read this, and then we'll talk just a little bit about it, and then, Lord willing, we'll get into our lesson either tomorrow or Monday. I'm not exactly sure how the schedule is going to look. I got some obligations that I have to take care of tomorrow, but we'll see. And if not, then I'll definitely see you on Monday. This is Matthew chapter 14, beginning in verse 22. Immediately, Jesus had his disciples get in the boat and go before him to the other side while he sent the multitudes away. Now, this is taking place right after the feeding of the multitudes. It says the feeding of the 5,000, but it was actually a lot more than that because that was 5,000 men. And so when we count in their wives and their children, and it was a lot of people. Anyhow, and when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. The Lord really was very sincere in his example to us, showing that prayer and communion with the Father was so important. Now when the evening came, he was alone there. But the boat was now in the middle of the sea. So the disciples had been obedient. They got in the boat and they were headed to the other side. It says, but now they were tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. So much like life, things are going along, and then all of a sudden, things aren't so good. And this is exactly where they were at. They set off for sail. Things seemed to be okay. No, not so much. Now, in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went to them. So this was late, middle of the night, early morning. He went unto them. So wait a minute. Jesus is on the shore. He can see the boat. We're not told that he's got a boat. What is he doing? It tells us he went to them. And then it says he was walking on the sea. Another supernatural moment. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled. They were fearsome. They didn't know what to think. They said, is it a ghost? And they cried out in fear. They just witnessed miracles that were unbelievable. Healings, the feeding of all these people with just a few pieces of fish and a few loaves of bread. And as he prayed and blessed it, it was enough, not only enough to feed everybody. We have to understand this. It was not only enough to feed everybody, but at the end of it, how many of the disciples were there? 12? And there were 12 baskets of leftovers. Another great story that we can talk about in another lesson. But it says they were troubled when they saw this, thinking it was an apparition, a ghost, whatever the case. But could he not do that? Immediately Jesus spoke to them and said, be of good cheer. Stop worrying about everything. He said, it is me. Don't be afraid. Oftentimes we need that same confirmation in life. God is saying to us, do you trust me? If you do, then whether you see me walking on the water or walking through your front door or riding with you down the road or walking with you down a pathway, I'm with you. Don't forget that. Don't forget, we've got this together. Peter said unto him, Lord, if it is you. So he's seeking confirmation, really. He said, you command me to you on the water. In other words, if that's really you, I want to be where you are. Now, Peter's in the boat, right? We've all heard this story many times, the miracle, the supernatural occurrence, whatever the case of Peter walking on the water. But it's so important we understand this invitation, because Peter has asked to be where Jesus is. Jesus is on the water. So what would that require? Getting out of the boat, right? I love this next part, and this is what we're going to talk about here just for a minute today. So Peter said, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. And Jesus said unto him, come. One word. One word. That was the invitation. If you want to be where I'm at, you see where I'm at. If you really trust me, then nothing's impossible. So get out of the boat, because I'm right here. This was an act of faith. This was a literal step of faith in every capacity. So we're said, goes on, it says, and when Peter had come down out of the boat, so he took that step of faith, he walked on the water to Jesus. I want us to think about that for a minute, friends. Whatever road you're traveling, whatever sea you're sailing, there are times, just like it tells us here, that the winds become contrary. In other words, things don't always go the way we want them to. Things kind of get messed up. I'm a living example of that. I think we all are. You know, I think about this last year. Really, probably more so even the last, 6 or 8 months. Everything's kind of planned. Everything's kind of set. Everything's kind of ready. And oh boy, did that not go the way that had been hoped for. It's neither here nor there. Why? That's regardless. That doesn't matter what the reasons why, or all the components involved, or none of that. It's the fact that that's life. Things don't always go the way that we want them to. But God is saying to us today, if you want to be with me, if you want to be where I'm going, because Jesus said what? Follow me. We're just coming out of the challenge invitation. Come and be challenged. If you're going to follow me, deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow me. Okay, so here Jesus is saying once again, I'm right here. If you want to come, then get out of the boat. Because you can't remain in the boat if you desire to walk on the water. If we desire to walk with Jesus, to follow Jesus, then we go where he goes. I mean, there's a scene, and again, I'm not going to get into arguments with anybody about what they do or don't like, or what they do or don't agree with based on legalism and foolishness, but there's a beautiful scene in the movie The Shack. And Jesus begins to walk on the water, and he invites Mackenzie to walk with him. And that scene in the movie is so incredible, because as Mackenzie is watching Jesus just naturally just walk on the water, just like we would across the lawn, he's standing on the shore thinking, really? I mean, I can't do that. And he says, well, come with me. I mean, if I'm doing it and you're with me, why not? And then the look of amazement on his face when he takes that first step and he doesn't sink. It's beautiful. When we think about that life lesson, when we think about come and get out of the boat, that goes back to the subject of me, willingness, and do I trust him enough to take that first step? Friends, this is going to be a great lesson when we think about the beauty that God has given us in this account, the joy that we're going to see about getting out of the boat, and the freedom that gives us to do everything that God says we can do, and everything that we've desired to do, but have the fear keeping us from taking that first step. I'm looking forward to this next lesson. Come and get out of the boat, it should be a good one. God bless you. Have a great day. And Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow. And for sure, if not, I will see you Monday. Have a great day.